Forecast First, brought to you by Todd Shore's McClarty Ford.
Had some sunshine return today, and the afternoon will be a fairly nice one for us on the warm side, as we will have high temperatures today in the low to mid 80s. Just a few upper level clouds drifting through, but expect mostly sunny conditions for the remainder of the day today. We'll likely see a few clouds build in after midnight tonight. We will see slight rain chances return in the upcoming days, and it is going to stay warm this week. I'll have the latest on that coming up a little bit later in the show. That's a check of your Todd Shore's McClarty Ford Forecast First. Local Midday begins right now.
Now, from your community, local news that matters. This is NBC6 News Local Midday Update.
Good afternoon. Thank you for choosing us as your local news source and tuning into NBC6 Local Midday Update. I'm Fernanda Hernandez. In our top story this afternoon, Shreveport police continue to investigate a fatal shooting. It happened around 2:15 this morning along Woodford Street, and police say an unidentified man was fatally shot. Police are also investigating a shooting involving a woman, and officials say she was shot in the leg. It's unclear if she drove herself to the hospital or was taken by someone else, but police are telling us that the shootings are believed to be connected. This is a developing story, and you can stay up to date right here and online at arclatexhomepage.com. And in more top news, the new representative for Shreveport City Council's District A has been officially sworn in. Shreveport City Councilwoman Tabitha H. Taylor was sworn in this morning during a ceremony at Government Plaza. Last week, the Shreveport City Council unanimously selected Taylor as an interim District A council member. Taylor will fill the seat vacated by the retirement of Willie Bradford. District A includes the Dr. Martin Luther King, Allendale, and Lakeside neighborhoods. And Taylor will serve until a special election held on November 3rd, and the qualifying period for the election will take place July 15th through the 17th. And turning our attention now to the latest in coronavirus news. As Louisiana sees its first weekend in the first phase of reopening, the amount of cases is continuing to increase statewide, but it is at a slower rate than seen in previous weeks. The total number of cases in the state now over 34,000. That's an increase of 872 cases over the weekend. The death toll standing now at 2,440, and Caddo Parish claims over 1,800 of those cases and 172 deaths, according to the coroner's office. Governor Edwards now only hosts briefings on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and the update today will be at 2 p.m. this afternoon. Of course, you can watch that live on our website, arclatexhomepage.com. And Money Matters, and U.S. Representative Mike Johnson announced that more than $400,000 in funding under the CARES Act has been awarded to the city of Shreveport. This to support the local enforcement response to the coronavirus. These funds, distributed through the Justice Department, can be used for many purposes, including hiring, overtime pay, training, the purchase of equipment, including personal protective equipment, as well as addressing the medical needs of inmates in state, local, and tribal prisons, jails, as well as detention centers. And also in Shreveport, the city is among the locations where the Office of Motor Vehicles is now offering limited office services. Those services include issuing and renewing driver's license and identification cards, ordering duplicate titles, renewing vehicle registrations, as well as transferring titles. The OMV says visitors will have to wear masks and practice social distancing. And according to the Shreveport Bossier Convention and Tourist Bureau, Margaritaville Resort Casino, Bossier's Horseshoe Casino, as well as Harrah's Louisiana Downs and El Dorado are set to reopen today. Casinos may only reopen at 25% capacity with slot machine banks and table game space. This to allow for social distancing, and Boomtown is set to reopen on Wednesday. Live thoroughbred racing at Harrah's Louisiana Downs will resume without spectators on Saturday, June 6th. And while those casinos are opening for business, one will remain closed for good. Officials with Diamond Jacks say the pandemic pushed them to close their doors permanently. In a statement, casino administrators said the unexpected impact of the virus has made operations no longer feasible from a business standpoint. The Louisiana Gaming Control Board says they have not been notified of the casino's decision to close, but they say the venue has been open for almost 20 years and it's brought millions of dollars of revenue into the state.
So the impact of that one casino, even though it may be smaller than some of the other casinos, is still huge for Northwest Louisiana. and during the time that it continues to be shut down, it's going to be a loss for that area.
And Diamond Jack's officials said all employees have been notified and are immediately eligible for unemployment benefits. Local managers are set to be they're working on a closure plan, and they said the property will be maintained as the closure is completed. Over in Texas now, here's a look at the new coronavirus numbers there. There are now over 47,000 cases statewide and more than 1,300 deaths so far. More than 693,000 people have been tested for the virus and more than 27,000 people have recovered. Governor Abbott will hold a briefing at 2 p.m. Of course, you can watch it live on our website, arclatexhomepage.com. And another part of Governor Greg Abbott's phased plan to reopen Texas rolls out today. Those getting the green light today include gym and exercise facilities, non-essential manufacturing plants, as well as office buildings. Limited overnight camping at state parks is also allowed, and all businesses must operate at 25% capacity, of course, with social distancing guidelines. Gyms and exercise facilities must keep those locker rooms and showers closed, and employers in office buildings are encouraged to plan rotating shifts to have fewer people in buildings at any given time. And over in Texas, Governor Greg Abbott has lifted the executive order for gyms to reopen across the state. NBC6's Sydney Simone is live with more. Hi, Sydney.
That's right, Fernanda. It's been exactly 2 months since gyms in Texas closed due to COVID-19. Now people can get back into a fitness routine starting today, but things are different this time around. Gyms are opening at a 25% occupancy rate. Lockers and showers are to remain closed at this time. The manager at Anytime Fitness says some machines have out-of-order signs on certain machines to force people to keep the distance.
You got to get back in that routine. I mean, everybody's been out for a couple months, and you know, the eating and everything like that, out of that routine, it sneaks up on you. So it's definitely time to get in here and get the structure going and get going forward.
The manager at Anytime Fitness says it's mandatory that each member are wiping down the machine after each use, and everyone should be wearing gloves that cover their wrist and a mask. Live here in Texarkana, Texas, Sydney Simone, NBC6 News. Back to you, Fernanda.
Thank you, Sydney. And we are headed over to Arkansas now. The state is reporting 4,759 positive cases of coronavirus. There have been 98 reported deaths. Governor Hutchinson will be giving a COVID-19 update at 1:30 p.m. this afternoon. Of course, you can watch it live on our website. And Arkansas has also begun reopening some of its casinos. The Oaklawn Casino Resort in Hot Springs plans to open today, but with new hours and new rules. The casino released its plan today, saying it will operate at 33% of its capacity, and only the main entrance will be open for guests. They also have new hours, opening at 9 in the morning every day. The casino will close at 5 a.m. on Friday and Saturdays, 3 a.m. Sunday through Thursday. And though the casino is laying out these new plans, they still haven't actually been given the green light.
All three of the casinos in our state have really taken this very seriously and gone to very detailed measures to try and make their facility as safe and as clean as possible. Nothing is risk-free, but they've done a lot to try and ensure that, and we'll continue to work with them.
And the governor has said that casinos will reopen today, Monday 18th, but their plans have to be signed off by the Department of Health. We expect to learn more about those rules to follow. And while casinos, salons, and gyms reopen, bars and pubs remain closed. NBC6's Jay Jackson spoke to one local owner who's trying to find unique ways to keep business afloat.
Inside Fatty Arbuckle's pub sits owner Chase Boyton, who's been sitting like this since the beginning of the pandemic.
Like everyone else, we got short notice that we were going to be closing, and we've been closed now for 62 days.
And he's wondering why, out of so many other businesses opening, his is still closed.
I never expected bars necessarily to be in the phase 1 reopening, but really what disappointed me is I saw casinos. What were supposed to be in phase 3 are now open, and it seems kind of unfair.
The mandated regulations for businesses in phase 1 state that they have to operate at a 25% occupancy, which for Boynton would mean 10 to 15 people allowed in and around his pub. But for casinos nearby, though, nearly 1,000 people would be allowed in one large location.
Look, we got to do what's best for public health, but why are we kind of picking and choosing? Do you really feel that much safer in a haircut instead of a tattoo shop?
And for now, he's leasing the kitchen from across the street at another business, just to bring customers back so that he doesn't have to close his pub.
My goal is to operate, at least temporarily, while it's in phase one, like a restaurant where we would just be serving food.
Jay Jackson, NBC6 News.
Jay Jackson reporting there, and the Louisiana Department of Health is still helping Louisiana cope through their Keep Calm Through COVID hotline. This is a 24/7 counseling service for those who may need help coping with COVID-19 related stress. This service is available to the public at no charge. You're seeing that phone number on your screen. And stay with us. Josh has a full check of your weather coming up next. And then a mysterious disease is affecting children around the country. It may be linked to COVID-19. We're going to tell you all those details after the break. And later we're telling you how you can win $1,000 with MUDBUG Madness. That's later in the show. Make sure you stick around with us.
And now, your weather authority, Josh Marcis, certified the most accurate forecast in the Arklatex.
Well, welcome back. So far, it has been a wonderful start to the week here weather-wise. Hoping that may hold for a few more days, but we do have some slight rain chances returning to the forecast here in the upcoming days. Highs today, low to mid-80s. This actually may be one of the more comfortable days this week, as we may see several days close to 90 degrees a little bit later in the upcoming week here. But for tonight, if you have any outdoor plans this afternoon, this evening, it should be pretty nice for that, as we'll see temperatures warm into the mid-80s this afternoon and then fall back through the 70s once we hit sunset tonight, and it looks like overnight lows in most locations will be in the low 60s, so a cool but comfortable start to your Tuesday morning. We do have some slight rain chances returning here. Nothing that will affect us this afternoon, as we'll continue to see lots of sunshine. That's due to that dry north wind that we have moving in behind an area of high pressure, which is kind of nudging that weekend storm system out of the region. As far as tonight, you see some of the clouds building in after midnight, and you can see just an isolated shower will be possible here. What we won't have this week is any kind of major cold front, major upper level disturbance that will move through and bring us any kind of severe weather threat, but it looks like we will see some chances for isolated rain Tuesday into Wednesday. May begin to see a little bit of an uptick as far as the rain Thursday into Friday, but you can see the reason for the 20% chance of rain in your forecast tomorrow, as Futurecast hinting there will be a few showers and storms fairly close to the region on your Tuesday. So here's a wide look at the weather pattern. What will happen Wednesday? We've got a storm system that's just off to our east. We have one that's just back to our west, and in between, and in the plains here, we'll see those systems get funneled across the plains and into the Arctic. So we don't have any really high rain chances, but it's just going to be one of those typical late May patterns where we do see some rain and a few isolated storms pop up in the afternoon heat each day. This will take us to Thursday, so you see the rain pretty close to the region. That is something that will continue for us Friday and likely into the upcoming weekend as well. So much like this last weekend, it doesn't look like it will be a washout, but we will see some rain out there the way things are looking Saturday into Sunday. Doesn't look like a lot of rain this week. Of course, we did have some flash flooding threats this weekend north of I-20. Futurecast showing most locations receiving less than an inch of rain over the next 7 days. And here's a look at that 7-day forecast, which shows the warm temperatures for the remainder of the week. We will be in the mid to upper 80s. Could actually have a few days where we're close to 90 late this week, and again some isolated showers and storms. We'll probably see those 30% rain chances go up a little bit later, so make sure you're checking back for updates through the week as far as which days may jump out as far as being more rain than the others, and overnight lows will be quite warm as well in the 60s and 70s. That's a look at your weather forecast. Let's send it back over to Fernanda.
Thank you, Josh. And in your medical headlines, Texas doctors are on alert for any signs of a mysterious illness that could be linked to COVID-19 in children. Pediatric multi-system inflammatory syndrome has now shown up in 17 states, including Texas. These pictures shown here are some of the symptoms, and Dr. Jeffrey Kahn, chief of infectious diseases at Children's Health and professor at UT Southwestern, says they've seen one potential case so far.
Very rarely do we see it even in older children, and it's rarely seen in adults. So there's something about how this virus interacts with individuals and their immune system and their inflammatory system that seems to be specific for children and not necessarily so for adults.
But can lead to cardiac arrest. In reported cases, children either tested positive for COVID-19 or COVID-19 antibodies, which means they at some point had the virus. And in your national headlines today, most states are at least partially back open, but top health officials are warning against reopening too much and too quickly. NBC6's Sam Brock has more.
Almost all 50 states are now partially reopened, from restaurants and retail to churches and casinos. The only remaining holdouts, Massachusetts' stay-at-home order expires today, while Connecticut's order lasts through Wednesday. On Sunday, the nation's health secretary signaling early signs are promising.
In areas that are opening, we're not seeing the spike in cases. We still see spikes in some areas that are in fact closed, very localized situations.
While Colorado and Georgia have not seen dramatic jumps, Texas just recorded its single highest spike of coronavirus cases on Saturday, more than 2,700. This as gyms and offices in the Lone Star State come back today. New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo getting tested for COVID-19 on live TV.
That's it?
While continuing to plead with people to be safe. The warm weekend weather luring New Yorkers outdoors, crowds outside restaurants and bars.
Thank you.
Parks and beaches packed.
Our plans are to be outside as much as possible.
Coast to coast, visitors flocking to beaches. In New Jersey, a test run before Memorial Day.
Definitely not seeing a lot of masks around.
South Carolinians sandwiched on this stretch near Myrtle Beach. And the first weekend beaches reopened in LA County, not stopping waves of people from crowding the water. Farther north in the Bay Area, a bewildering scene in San Francisco Friday. Residents of the always social Marina neighborhood practicing virtually no social distancing outside this wine bar.
The fact that people weren't wearing masks and they were so, cluttered together, I'm like, oh God, no, it was very upsetting.
Also upsetting, a warning from Butte County a few hours away in Northern California, after a churchgoer recently tested positive for coronavirus, exposing 180 people and renewing warnings on large social gatherings. In Florida, as Miami Beach's restaurant scene economic fuel for South Florida eyes a reopen, the governor is considering easing the ban on vacation rentals, but not for everyone.
If you tell me you're going to rent them out to people from New York City, I'm probably not going to approve that, okay?
Of course, here in South Beach and in South Florida in general, the biggest attraction is the beaches. No indication at this point on when those are going to be coming back online, but in nearby Palm Beach County, they reopened today. In South Florida, Sam Brock, NBC News.
Well, stay with us. Coming up next, summer is right around the corner. We're taking a look at how camps are preparing for your kids as well as COVID-19.
This is NBC6 News Local Midday Update.
Welcome back. In your consumer news, Kroger will be spending $130 million to say thank you to its employees. This for working during the pandemic. The company announced on Friday that the one-time payment to its workers is to acknowledge their dedication during this unprecedented time. As a part of the thank you pay, full-time employees will receive an extra $400 on their paycheck, while part-time associates will get half of that. The news comes after the company handed out hero bonuses during the months of April and May. Meanwhile, millions of families are wondering if they'll be able to send their kids to summer camp, and if they will they'll be safe while they're there. This morning, brand new guidelines are being released by the American Camp Association and YMCA of the USA. NBC's Savannah Guthrie has more on this summer camp dilemma.
Hands up, girls, hands up. For 20 million kids across the country, this year, summer camp is a ritual at risk. Happy campers now wondering whether they'll be bunked up or hunkered down. Julia and Mike Sanabria, parents of 4-year-old Lily and 5-year-old Blank, sent their kids to day camp in New Jersey last summer.
Playing with kids is such an important part of childhood.
This year, they're struggling with a decision.
We're just not confident that if we had to make the decision today, that they'd be able to, keep the kids safe, and that the kids would be able to comply with the guidelines.
The nation's 14,000 camps are now facing tough choices as summer approaches.
I'd say the primary strategy we'll be using is keeping kids in smaller groups. So in addition to all of the screening that we'll be utilizing, and hand washing and use of masks where appropriate, and disinfection, and all of the things that we know we're going to need to do.
Scott Brody runs several camps across New England.
I think every camp is going to find a way to take care of their campers, because that's why we do what we do. We are about community and growth and love and support.
Stick around, we've got your second clue in the MUDBUG Madness treasure hunt. Stick around for that.
This is NBC6 News Local Midday Update. The MUDBUG Madness Treasure Hunt, brought to you by SWEPCO.
Welcome back. NBC6 is teaming up with the organizers of MUDBUG Madness to bring you SWEPCO's MUDBUG Madness Treasure Hunt. The Treasure Hunt is replacing this year's festival, and there will be a brand new clue tonight in our 10 p.m. newscast. You can also find all of those clues on our website, arklatex-homepage.com, as well as the Arklatex homepage app. And now we are headed over to Josh for our final look at our forecast.
Well, a final check of your weather forecast. Again, warm weather expected for the remainder of the week. Dry today, but you'll see those 20 to 30% rain chances back with us for much of the upcoming weeks. Looks like any kind of severe weather threat for us is low, but make sure you are checking back for updates this week. Overnight lows will be in the 60s and 70s, and late this week, afternoon showers and storms will be likely for us Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend as well.
Thank you, Josh, and that wraps up your local midday update. We're going to see you back here at midday tomorrow. Have a terrific Monday, a great start to your week. We'll see you tomorrow.
Your weather authority and the Ray Ford Thunder Truck, driven by the most accurate forecast in the Arklatex.